What is up, bodyweight exercise fans? In today's video of Bodyweight Muscle, we'll be talking about our workout approach for cutting down, leaning down for the summer, building a lean but still strong physique. So in the previous videos, we talked about how sometimes if you're not combining the right type of nutrition and exercise, you can lose weight but just look weaker instead of looking stronger and more defined. So what's those parts if you haven't seen them yet? And let's move on to today's topic. So the workout approach that we'll be using for getting into a lean aesthetic calisthenics physique for the summer will be circuits. Now there are three reasons for this. Number one is that they are short. There's not a lot of volume and they don't take a lot of time. This is a plus because during the summer you have a lot of heat, and when you're on a caloric deficit or even at caloric maintenance, sometimes you don't have a lot of energy to do long workouts. So that's number one. The second thing is that they are intense. Because as I said, you don't have a lot of training volume, you need to spike up the metabolic stress. Now, I've talked about these basics during our winter muscle building video series. Check those if you haven't seen them yet. But metabolic stress and mechanic tension and training volume, three of the most important things for building muscle. Here, training volume is low, so we need to spike up the metabolic stress. The third reason that circuits will be my preference is because they combine cardiovascular exercise with strength exercise. Again, during the summer and when you're on a low calorie intake, you won't have a lot of energy to do a lot of stuff. So instead of just doing cardio and strength training separately, you can combine these both into circuits. I mean, my heartbeat goes like crazy when I do circuits, and it's one of the best ways for me to train. Again, you have the two most important things that you want to work out: cardiovascular training, increased blood flow, and you're still building muscle. There are some studies showing also that when you're doing a lot of lower body cardio, lower body related cardio such as running, that also gets in the way, hinders basically hypertrophy for legs. So if you're this chicken leg type of guy, I mean, I would say I have chicken legs. I have to work at them really methodically and smart to add some mass on them. This year I did that successfully, but I know that if I do a lot of cardio, running, stuff like that are low in intensity and high in duration, my legs will thin out. So there's an interesting study that recently came out on this. I'm going to include it. Now, if you don't have a problem with that, if you don't have chicken legs, if you have thick legs, no worries. And if you have also the energy, you can still do your long hour cardio if that's something that makes you happy. So a lot of people think that cardio is for losing fat and strength training is just for building muscle, but the truth is that especially with circuit training, you can do two in one. And actually, as we'll talk soon, strength training, when done in the right way, or as I like to call it, RCT training, recomposition circuit training, can be even more efficient for burning fat in comparison with cardio. So again, circuit training, you can do two things in one. Saves you time, saves you energy, and I prefer other strategies when it comes to adding more movement for losing fat. I prefer doing something that you enjoy more. Again, some people enjoy cardio, that's not a problem. I prefer, for example, for me, I like doing some martial arts. I like walking a lot with friends, and in general, you sit during the whole if you sit during the whole day, if you have like a sedentary job and you train 1 hour per day, that's not gonna solve your problem. You need to include a lot of movement, and you need to include movement that's interspersed within your day. So studies have shown that when you have a lot of movement during the day, split it instead of doing like one long hour session, that's more effective for both health and for losing fat. So instead of taking the elevator, take some steps. Instead of going to your job with your car, with your motorcycle, take your bicycle. A lot of people look at me, the way I eat a decent amount of calories and stay lean, and they say me that I have a good metabolism and this and that, but what they don't see is that I move all day. I travel with my bicycle everywhere in a radius, I would say, of 3 miles or even more, for my work, for this and that. I never take the car. I don't even have a car actually at this point. And I do martial arts. I walk during the weekends. I walk the first thing when I wake up in the morning. You know, I go for it's a short walk. It's like a 10-minute walk to like get my brain started, but still I have a lot of movement that adds up during the day, which is a more efficient way for increasing your calorie expenditure. Now, when you compare RCT training, recomposition circuit training as I like to call it, which is basically a phrase I use for the type of circuit training that we'll be talking about in the coming videos, it's a more efficient way for for burning fat than typical cardio. So number one is that it burns more calories per minute, so more fat per minute. Number two is that it burns more calories after your workout. So this is also called EPOC. And basically why this happens is because once you're done with your circuit training, your body still keeps on burning energy for a bigger amount of time in comparison with cardio, which, you know, will just burn some extra energy for about half an hour after you finish your workout. Circuit training burns for a lot more energy for about a whole day. This happens because you have to restore your muscle glycogen stores. This happens because your body is rebuilding its muscle fibers that you destroyed during your training, and you know, all this leads to extra oxygen that your body will need to consume during the rest of the day in order to recover. Another thing is that by increasing your muscle mass, or at least doing things that will stimulate muscle retention especially when you're a caloric deficit, when losing muscle is easy, this means that you'll be maintaining more muscle mass, and more muscle mass is basically, compared with fat and other tissue, is metabolically more active. So your metabolic rate during the day will be a little bit higher. Now, this is not like a huge deal, like a lot of people make it, but you know, when you add a lot of things together, they will make a difference in the end of the day. Now, the last reason that I like RCT recomposition circuit training is because, and this is more of a bro tip, you know, I don't have any solid science to support this, but this is just like a personal tip. Take it if you want, or with a little bit of salt if you may, is that when you do circuit training, the type of circuit training that we'll be talking about in the coming videos, the combination of high intensity, of muscle stimulation, of a high heartbeat basically will help you break through long-lasting fat plateaus. Now, I've seen these a lot of times, because strength training is good during a big part of the year. It will help you with recomposition, you know, building muscle and getting rid of fat. But after a certain point, when you plateau, you need to do something that will really shock your body. Because a lot of times you'll be stuck you'll be like in a caloric deficit, and you'll be stuck with your fat loss goals. You know, you won't be seeing a lot of difference. RCT training always helps with breaking those plateaus, assuming, of course, you know, that your nutrition is proper. RCT training will make a difference when you're stuck with fat plateaus. It's my number one strategy for getting rid of stubborn fat. So that was all for today. Let's make a quick summary. RCT training, very useful during the summer when it's warm, when you're in a low caloric deficit, you know, because it's short and it doesn't last a lot of time. You know, you won't need a lot of energy. What helps here is to place your calories around your workout. So be strategic, have some calories, a big amount of your calories at least before your workout. Just make sure you've given your body enough time to digest your food, and place also the rest of the biggest part of your calories as well after your workout. So, you know, this way you'll make sure that you have enough energy for your training, and you'll have enough of nutrition in your body to recuperate once you're done with the training. Other benefits, you know, basically two birds with one stone. You're doing your cardio, you're doing your strength training at the same time. Make sure you supplement the rest of your day with more movement, things that you enjoy, things that don't drain you, such as cardio. Again, I'm not an enemy of cardio, but you know, for a lot of people it's not something that's functional. Definitely not something functional for me. I prefer doing sprints. You know, we'll be talking also about sprinting, uphill sprints and upstairs sprints. A lot better strategy for burning fat than typical long hour cardio sessions. They're good, especially for chicken leg kind of physique. So if you are prone to losing a lot of weight easily from your legs, also ideal for that in comparison with long hour cardiovascular exercises that use your legs a lot. They're good also for advanced trainees because even though there's not a lot of volume there, as we said, volume is important to maintain muscle mass, but because we increase metabolic stress a lot, it will still give you a good, it will still stimulate your body enough to maintain muscle and sometimes to even trigger some hypertrophy. So those were the main benefits. I hope this video helps. I'll be giving you a very detailed workout structure in the next video. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you circuits, RCT workouts for beginners, for intermediates, for advanced, for those who did my muscle building program this year. There's a playlist if you want to check that workout out, or there's also a book. I'm going to include those above. That was all, I think. Check out the beautiful scenery here in northern Greece where I live. I just finished my upstairs sprinting and I started shooting this video. So it's a beautiful day. I hope you're having a beautiful day as well, and until next time, keep on training.